Hey, movie lovers, this is Brad.
And this is Tyler.
This podcast was recorded originally as a Patreon exclusive.
That's right. This was recorded before we even knew that Popcorn Dogs would ever be available to the public. So you might hear some older references.
If you want access to episodes early, as well as over 75 bonus episodes of our various shows, check out patreon.com/hairofthedogcast and check out our free trial.
Now, please enjoy this vintage episode of Popcorn Dogs.
Guys, is this Doggies After Dark, or do you want to do a Popcorn Dogs on something?
We could do a Popcorn Dogs. That'd be all right.
I'm always down for
done one in a
Popcorn
long
Dogs.
time.
That was a popcorn.
Have we all seen The Boys' newest season?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm all caught up.
Have we all seen Stranger Things?
I'm all
I've seen
caught
all
up.
of Stranger Things.
Okay, we'll do it without Nate's consent.
That's fine.
about
The last
anything
6 months of my life has been an absolute disaster. Let's just put it that way.
Oh.
Sips beer.
You just don't have a TV or a phone or anything?
Didn't have TV and was working 7 days a week.
Popcorn Dogs.
10 hours a day.
Popcorn Dogs is our movie-focused podcast, movie or TV.
Oh, yeah, I'm down with whatever. We
It's
can
like-
talk about it even if I haven't seen it.
It's like once every other month, I think. And I think we were technically ahead for a while because we haven't recorded one in a while, but
We did 2 Marvel ones
back to back. Yeah.
Oh. Did we?
Not with you. You've only been
you-
there for the very first one.
Okay, that makes sense.
That was
Yep.
when you lost your phone. You
Yeah,
had your
phone-
hangover
Phone went away.
movie trip.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't regret any of that. And I definitely haven't watched my drinking habits since then. So, you know.
I have. I see them all the time.
Addictions.
I'm not addicted. Come on now.
Then stop. Real man would.
Come on. Fuck you, Nate.
Oh, I fully accept it. I'm an alcoholic. My name's Nate. I love it.
Hey, that's fine.
And I'm thriving.
I am thriving.
The only thing I'm addicted to is pussy.
So I got on this roof, right? And here I'm jerking it hard.
And there's these bitches on the sidewalk. And they're like, oh my God, that guy's naked. And I'm like, I ain't stopping.
Well, if this is a Popcorn Dogs, we should have a topic.
I'm thinking we could talk about The Boys, maybe. I think
The
it's
Boys?
okay. I think it's okay. I think the season is okay.
The Boys, Stranger Things, House of the Dragon, Westworld. There's a lot of good shows out right now.
You said The Boys after this season is your favorite show of all time, possibly.
It's definitely up there. I loved this last season.
I think that it went in the good side of a lot of extreme scenarios. And to try and bring redemption arcs for A-Train and to like have him have a moment of redemption, I'm like, that's weird. They made it, but
Yeah, it worked. And I think my favorite takeaway is just the complexity that is Homelander and how his character gets more and more muddy and more weird and diverse every season.
Now he's just leaning full Donald Trump.
well, it is a direct parody of what's happening in America now, which
Yeah.
is what I think the most interesting thing about The Boys, because when it was written as a comic book, it wasn't about what's happening today.
Have you read any of the comic?
No.
Some of the worst art you're ever going to see in a comic book.
It looks bad.
It's not good looking.
The fact that they can make it now today,
I've read all The Boys.
like a parallel for MAGA Republicans, and about Homelander thinks he does this horrible, disgusting thing, and everybody cheers him on and loves him for it when he's just like killing people. And
Yeah.
it is too accurate. But it also doesn't pull punches for the other crowd either. Like they go to that amusement park and there's like LGBT turkey burgers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Maeve's wondrous bisexuality
Yeah.
chips.
Well, it talks. It's basic. It's commentary on like Disney mostly. Mm-hmm. Like how they're just like, check it out, representation. It's like, don't pat yourself on the back, just do it. Like, just have a black person in your movie. Like, it's all it takes.
Guys, look, those girls kissed in the Star Wars movie.
Yeah, they kissed at the end. Yay!
Can we get an article?
Yeah,
Tell us we're cool.
I think my favorite thing about The Boys so far is that they leaned into, if there actually was superheroes, they would Disneyfy them. They would market the fuck out of them. They'd put their face on cereal boxes. And then the fact that they're actually making Avengers level movies with the superheroes is hilarious.
They make them actors as well.
Yeah.
Well, I like that they're franchised. Like you're moving to this city, you're going to be a smaller market.
Yeah. We got to punish you, the Deep, because
The Deep has become one of my favorite characters.
he's just a meme. He's like a walking meme.
Yeah, supposedly
He's really
his
funny.
character isn't the same either from the comic books.
I don't know. Does he fuck an octopus in the comics?
or
Wait, didn't he fuck a
eat an
dolphin?
octopus.
So does he fuck an octopus in the last one?
He has sex with a
Fucks
lot of animals.
Yeah.
sea creatures.
No, isn't that the joke in season 1? And then they're like, oh yeah, he's fucking like sea animals for sure.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
he does.
Hey, more power to him. We just got
A lot of badass moments.
It's made by Warren Ellis, right?
Not sure.
The Boys.
The comic?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I've only
something I know.
I've only looked at some of like the moments that have happened in the show as opposed to like comparisons in the comic, because from what I understand, the comic is like really over the top.
Dude, when Homelander goes to his Nazi like zombie girlfriend's bed and she's like dying and he makes her give him a tuggy,
That was pretty bad.
it's like, wow, this show doesn't care. Okay, the first episode,
Is that Stormfront?
yeah.
So I knew she died.
Yeah.
She didn't die. She's
Nazis
like,
never die. They just come back and
It's
they
obvious.
date America.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in the first episode of the new season, they're hunting like the bad superheroes, like that's what our team is doing. They get the little guy, the Ant-Man, they get him in a bag. Well, first he goes inside of a wiener.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
They
goes
set the
into
bar so high in episode 1 this season
He sneezes and accidentally expands inside the wiener.
because he did so much coke before going into the dick that he had a fuzzy nostril.
And then the heroes get him in a bag of cocaine and just shake the shit out of it.
That's how he dies.
I don't know if he doesn't die.
Homelander kills him.
But originally, like, they want to kill him, but Butcher says, like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah,
Because he's working for the government now.
because Huey won't let him.
Yeah.
He's like kind of taking orders from Huey at the beginning, but then that little ant guy gets stepped on outside Hero-gasm by Homelander when he shows up. I think,
Something like that.
yeah, he dies there.
Well,
Wait, so the anti-heroes catch him.
yeah. But they're kind of working for the government now
kind of
Interesting.
for a while.
for a little bit.
One thing I noticed that was really jarring was Starlight's plastic surgery. Her face looks so bad now.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Oh, she barely can express. It's Botox.
It's very bad for a character that I thought was just incredibly naturally beautiful. It's like you just ruined your face.
Well, I guess
happens.
I'd have to go back and watch season 3 because I didn't notice.
You'd be able to
let's,
tell.
Let's actually look this up. And I don't want this to be a rag on a person for having like.
No. It's an observation I had.
Yeah.
There's a lot of surgery, which I don't think is necessary.
I mean, a lot of people are insecure with a lot of different parts of their body, and if you had the money to fix it, would you? Like, I can't afford plastic surgery, but if I had the money, might I? Maybe. Who knows? Hopefully not, because it doesn't look like it really works for anybody.
Now you see it, Dylan.
Let me
So
see.
I guess I wasn't like paying super attention. Oh my god, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you
I guess
were
I didn't.
absolutely right.
I didn't notice it as much, but I did find something uncanny about her face.
And it doesn't move as much.
Wow, how did I not notice that?
Yeah.
As far as heroes for the season, though, the Deep is so funny to me now. He'll do anything to get like plus points for the media, and he's ready to eat his octopus friend. That scene is brutal.
Yeah, that was graphic.
Like, that's his love partner who is also an octopus. So I feel weird about many things going on in there.
Yeah, and then, oh my God, they put him in charge of like stopping crime. And he just fucking fires like 85% of the team. So they can't even function anymore.
Yeah. Why are we stopping crime? He fired everyone. I'm the only one here.
Like, why did he do that?
I love how in this that even the characters, the boys, keep making mistakes. I don't know if I really like the kid as much in this season.
Huey?
No, the kid is
Homelander's kid.
no, the kid is they call her the kid in the comic books.
Frenchie's lady.
Yeah.
What's her name?
I can't remember.
Tapioca or something. Tapioca pudding.
We'll call it.
Mon Cher.
There we go.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I found their whole thing very boring.
The Frenchie stuff felt ham-fisted.
It was.
They needed to give them something to do to extend their will they won't they thing.
Yeah.
Which
They
is
should
by
have
this
just
point
made
annoying.
They should have just made it a. They are. They currently are. They are doing it. They will. They have.
Well, yeah.
I felt like the will they won't they was entirely unnecessary, especially with how close those characters had become.
Did they do that for an entire season?
Essentially, they draw it out by Frenchie's got a dark past.
Russians.
Yeah.
Well, after Jim begs Pam, everyone's like, well, The Office is over after season 3 now. It's like one of those things, after something happens, the tension's gone. One of the reasons people were watching is gone. So
But in this show,
they're drawing it out for the boys.
Pam and Jim never had to fight superheroes. So Jim never had to worry that Pam was going to be crushed by Homelander. This is a very real threat for Frenchie.
Doctor Strange.
Rumor has it the actor for Homelander is going to be the bad guy in the Blade movie. He's going to be playing Dracula, I guess.
That would
he would be a
dope.
really good
Which I think is,
Dracula.
that's good casting.
He's a good Dracula.
He is such a good actor. Just
Anton something. Yeah.
the
He's
amount of
super nice.
Anthony
too.
Starr.
the amount of control he has over his face to like do little nuanced movements that telegraph emotion, like he just fucking
got this thing.
nails it.
He's like boiling anger underneath, like boiling anger.
He's
and
like
sadness.
clenching his jaw and it like shifts his whole face and you're like, damn, he's pissed. And
Yeah.
he did nothing.
That character is always super interesting because he's always he's going through a journey too where he's realizing people know who he really is and he's empowered by it and he gets to be himself for the first time instead of the image that has been told to him his entire life. But a new character this season that is great,
Shining star of the season.
Captain America,
Yeah.
who
Jensen Ackles of Supernatural fame.
never seen Supernatural.
He's the older brother in Supernatural,
He's
which
got
ran
the-
for ungodly amounts of
14
seasons.
seasons?
14 fucking
Was it
seasons.
14?
Yeah.
That was a guess.
For a
don't have that kind of
CW
investment.
show.
Last I
Might be
fell
13,
off
I
at
don't
like
know.
6, maybe.
1 through 5 are good.
I think
but
5 is where I left off then.
it literally has an ending.
One thing The Boys does that is so good is it takes superheroes that you know and love and it takes their powers or what they're known for and it says what they'd really be like. Like Ant-Man is a weird sex perv.
Yep.
Mr. Fantastic uses his stuff for weird sex things. Essentially everything is just like
Yeah.
turned up a little bit. But with Captain America, the first thing you see is he's extremely womanizing and old-fashioned. I'm like, he is from the past.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like he probably would be a little outdated.
Especially if you were like the real Captain America, frozen for, I don't know, the women's suffrage and all of that stuff, and he just comes back.
No,
and he's like,
he was alive to see women vote. Yes,
I don't know
women's
the
suffrage
timeline, but I
is
also don't
like
really
the
care.
early 1900s.
not the whole thing.
Nate, for someone who knows a lot about history, you don't know a lot about history.
Timelines are hard.
He's also just like blind drunk all the time.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
always funnier too because the more and more that Captain America keeps going as a comic book, the longer he's been in the ice. Because originally he was only gone for about 15 years. When the first Avengers, the Avengers issue 2, when they revive him, it's like, oh, it's only been 15 years. I guess there's a few things you should catch up on. But as time goes on and Marvel has like the sliding scale, it's actually a rule within Marvel editing that Captain America died at this stage. This is where Peter Parker became Spider-Man, and then everything shifts around that. That's
Like,
a rule.
that's their fixed points.
Those are their fixed points.
So those are
No
their
shit.
destiny points.
Yeah. It's like it. They're like, this is when this happened. This is when this happened. I think there might be another one that they do, but right now, like Peter Parker is like 35 years old. I don't know how their math works out with that. And Captain America has always been revived for 10 years.
Yeah, because that's something that they don't do in the MCU.
No.
But they hint
They
at
don't
it.
have to.
They hint at it with the Black Widow movie because David Harbour's Red Guardian.
Yeah.
He's like, did Captain America ever talk about fighting me? Because it happened. And he's like desperate for someone to prove that he actually fought Captain America. But according to everything we know, that wouldn't have happened.
No, it wouldn't have.
Unless he was revived, or maybe it was Cap after time traveling. He fought him because he like allowed himself to get old, and maybe something happened.
I mean, possibly, but he wouldn't have tried to be Captain America. I think he retired. Otherwise, you would hear stories about Captain America, even whatever causality. They don't explain their time travel well in those movies.
The more they explain, the more holes they dig. So it's
I know.
perfectly.
Best they leave
opaque.
it where it's at.
Yep.
They'll call it multiverse or something.
It's like Austin Powers when he talks about conundrums. He's like, just don't think about it and have fun.
Yeah. So yeah, it's always been 10 years since Steve Rogers woke up, which means that the Avengers have only been around for 10 years at any given time, which is insane because of the sheer amount of stories that happen. It's the same thing with like Batman. It's always been around like, he's only been Batman for about 8 years usually.
Yeah, yeah.
Being Batman would take a lot out of a regular person's body.
Yeah.
You fall off of one building, you
No.
have back problems the rest of your life.
No, remember in the third movie, Christian Bale just puts on that knee brace and then he can kick through a pillar.
And he just like, I broke my back. I'll just hang here for a little while.
Yeah, he'll
Yeah.
be fine.
For
Stretch it out.
Someone who
Chiropractors hate him.
Dark Knight ends with like one of the most epic, like, oh, he's like this brilliant hero and he'll keep fighting. And then in the next one, you're like, oh, after that, he just quit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he quit. I'm like, oh, okay. That's real like narrative ramp up for you.
Also, I mean, if a billionaire just invested a lot of money into reforming the city the right way, could he not have like helped out by not antagonizing major criminals to do more crimes?
But
I don't
then
know.
he can't
And giving
indulge
them
his power
CTE.
fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. He is a ninja after all. So let's
Yeah.
be real.
I'm a ninja and a billionaire. Bruce, just go to bed.
I trained in the mountains.
One of the best Batman portrayals, the Lego Batman movie. Have you guys seen it?
Oh, that shit is hilarious.
One of the best Batman movies.
Does Will Arnett voice him?
Yeah, yep.
The Lego stuff is actually pretty fucking funny.
It just talks about how lonely Batman actually is and how he just
Yeah.
needs friends. Like the Justice League are having a party and none of them invite him and he gets really sad.
Oh, poor Bruce.
I remember laughing.
He's like
a lot.
walking around in his underwear with his cowl on. It's very funny.
Yeah, Batman.
Oh, and Seth Rogen makes a cameo in The Boys.
Oh my God, that's right.
And I think a lot of people forget Seth Rogen is one of the creative forces behind it, one of the writers
I didn't know that.
For the TV series, right?
for the TV series. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Like he really pushed to get it made, and then they went to someone else, and then got picked up by Amazon or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and
They made a good choice.
I don't know what was originally in the series versus what's new, but like when what they did with A-Train about his brother criticizing him for like, you're a big sellout, like you don't stand by your community, and he just tries to bring this racist hero, like he's apologizing and then it just goes bad.
yeah.
I think they stopped adapting the comic books partway through season 2.
It's like we got the core stuff just
yeah, because like
We're just
Black
gonna do our own
Noir.
shit.
Black
is-
Noir was amazing this season.
Yeah.
How Black Noir dies is the same from the comic books.
Oh, really?
But Black Noir is a clone of Homelander in the comic books, is he not?
That would make sense.
I think he's a clone of Homelander.
He's a very different character in the comic books. I've only watched the like comparison stuff from other
I'm
podcasts and
terrified to look at any of that because I don't want to get spoiled on things that
I
might
read it.
come.
I used to read comic books waiting for Lyft and Uber rides that I would give people, and I know I read The Boys. I cannot remember that worth shit. So I'm not going to say anything either way.
When I think of like the standout actor of the season, Mother's Milk was really good.
Mother's Milk was good.
He's always phenomenal when he's on screen.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to be like, no, he's a fucking fascist. Don't let my kid worship him.
Yeah, like when like your daughter's stepdad is going to Trump rallies.
Like he's like, you don't understand. And then the stepdad is just like, he's got some real good points and blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, no, don't you get it? Like,
maybe vaccines do kill people.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that it's like social commentary of the time.
They do a very good job of making it satire enough to where like it never really feels like they're saying anything really divisive.
Well, there's a whole gaggle of people who really liked the character of Homelander unironically, and then as they were making more and more Trump comparisons, they were like, "Why do you have to make this political?
Why are you making fun of us?
Why are you making fun of us?"
It's like you're admitting you're
one
part
of
of the
them.
problem.
Yes.
Yeah, by saying that.
It's just it's like you liked Homelander like a piddly like sniveling brat. Like, I mean, clearly, yeah. If you like Donald Trump, you like piddly sniveling brats.
I mean, I will confidently say Homelander's my favorite character in the show, but that's because of the
just
journey.
how good. Well, that's
Like, it's a
how
great
good the
character.
acting and yes,
I hate him. I hate him to pieces.
It was great watching the moment where
A good villain is okay to like.
Yeah,
you
it's
got
great.
You got Butcher and what's Captain America's name?
Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy is a great name for it.
Yeah.
You have Soldier Boy, Butcher, and Homelander like having a 3-way fight, and you see Homelander realize for the first time, like, oh shit, they can fight him back.
Yeah, and when he like shows up to see Maeve and he's wearing the concealer, and then she's like, "Oh shit, you're scared.
Yeah.
like someone hurt you." And then fucking to have Huey come in and be part of that fight,
And he always has to be naked whenever he transports
which is
anywhere.
hilarious.
Because they start taking Compound V so they can become heroes. themselves.
I assumed that's where this was going to go.
And from my understanding, the comics it's permanent, and for the show it was like
It's
a limited
like a
time.
pill. Yeah.
So like I think it was a really good idea for the show to do like maybe this one season where it's like, all right, we did our superhero thing, but now
Well, one
we're
of the things
mortals
I
again.
remember is that the
an
success rate of Compound V within the comic books was very high, but it would always give you something like cancer and then you would die.
Yeah, and that's a small point they make in the show. Like, if you take enough of this, it will eventually start killing you.
Your brain will just rot out your
Well,
ear.
isn't that what is happening to like A-Train essentially? Isn't he like a
If he
Bill-
keeps running fast, it'll give him a heart attack or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, it's the whole concept of like when you design hero or like superpowers with your friends, like everybody's got to have kryptonite.
Yeah.
So I love the
suppose.
concept.
The deep is that he fucks octopuses and he has to eat them. That's his kryptonite.
Slurping down that fucking octopus is so funny.
I watched a corridor cruise. They break down special effects, and they had one of the people in charge of the boys. They're like, we can't talk about the scene with the wiener, but we'll talk about the octopus eating scene. And they talked about how they created like a lot of those effects and how you make it look real.
Oh yeah,
It's really good.
What did you guys think of Herogasm?
Disappointing.
I've read it.
The way it was hyped up for seasons, like, oh, this is happening. I thought it was fine. I expected it to be somehow more lascivious.
Yeah, I think I had it built up in my brain because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know what it was going to
It's
be.
raunchy. Someone had to CG the inside of someone's like anus.
That is true.
I mean, they
I mean, it definitely was super, super scandalous. But I think the real takeaway from that is that fight scene. That fight scene with Homelander,
Yeah.
Billy, and Soldier Boy was just like, it got me so pumped for the rest of the show to see where it's going to go.
When does that happen?
It's like episode 5, maybe?
Near the end of the
6.
season, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's talk about Stranger Things as well.
Another great show.
Dylan, what were your thoughts on the new season?
too long for what it is.
Okay, because it was like two halves. It was like a season and another half a season, kind of.
But it's not even just that. They don't know how to format these things anymore. They essentially created their own format, which I can kind of appreciate in kind of a punk rock way. It's just like, well, we're just gonna tell this story in however long we want to tell it. And they've got so many characters at this point, and they've got to like focus on each of them and fulfill so many like check mark boxes. And I really found myself going, okay, maybe this could have ended earlier.
I thought they redeemed themselves because I think the second and the third season had a lot of down moments.
Yeah.
I think that they have now seen a finish line.
Well, now it's the next season and it's over. Yeah.
It's getting more exciting because they're working towards something, but also we have to have Jonathan in this. We have to have Hopper do something. And it's like they don't have enough story for everyone to be there for the whole season. Everything with Mike and Jonathan.
Oh my God, I was so bored.
And anything where it was just them out in the van. If it wasn't for that one stoner pizza delivery character, that would have been flat as fuck.
Yeah.
He saved that whole journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, Will having his like realization he's gay and try and talk to Mike and like
Also,
that was good, but it wasn't enough to carry all the time they gave him.
And I think the actor that plays Will is he's fantastic.
Noah
He's
something.
great young actor. The way they filmed the emotion that he was supposed to show, like the looking out the window and crying, felt so teenage melodramatic that it just was like, I laughed at this scene that's supposed to be really hard for Will to swallow and like deal with.
But like also, I think Mike knew he was gay. Like
I know,
I think
but
everyone in
why
the
do you
group knew he was gay.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you can't talk about it until they do, though. I think,
Well, yeah, you can't come out for someone.
I will say Mike is insensitive. Something that happened that the creators didn't even know about. There's a scene in a bowling alley where some bad stuff happens with Elle. I like how we're not going to spoil one thing for Nate. Sorry, Nate.
Don't worry about it.
But there's a video camera footage of what happens, and it reveals that it's actually Noah's character, Will's birthday. It's Will's birthday according to the date on the camera, because earlier when he's like possessed, she's like, "Today is your birthday, this day." She's trying to get him to snap out of it.
Really?
And it's Will's birthday when that happens, which double makes it sad that Mike never talks to Will about it. And because he arrives and immediately just wants to go make out with his girlfriend, and it's Will's birthday, plus his friend isn't paying attention to him.
So when I watched this season,
They've actually gone in and re-edited that to change the day because they didn't know it was that day.
really,
They got in trouble because they were going in and re-editing episodes that were already out, and they're like, "Stop, you guys, stop it!" And they're like, "We won't do it again."
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of wild, actually. That's actually scary.
Oh, that happens.
You can
it happens more often than you
well,
think.
yeah, but you can like gaslight the entire world if you want to.
oh my god,
It's like editing a previous comment and then the reply makes someone look bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can just like recontextualize it through just like adding a few choice words.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really liked the first half of the newest season.
I like the episode with Max. Like
Max?
the Dear Billy episode.
Max is
episode
great.
Running Up That Hill, episode 4,
Yeah.
was the shining star of the season by far.
I
Eddie playing
I hate Kate Bush,
Metallica.
but
Yeah.
I liked the
So I'm an electrician now, and I listen to the radio all fucking day around a bunch of other people, and I don't put the radio on. I hear Kate Bush like 3 or 4 times a day now. That shit's all over the radio
shit.
because of that.
That Master and Puppets, like that show exploded 2 songs.
Yeah.
Master of Puppets especially.
I think the villain is very good this episode. Vecna, I think it's interesting, and you also learn about the villain and you understand why they become the villain.
You understand why Hawkins is actually the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the ramifications that Vecna is actually the one who took Will in season 1, and that it wasn't a Demogorgon, and the rumors around that make him even more formidable as a villain. And it's like putting a nice little bow on the whole show going into the final season.
And he's not even the bad guy.
There's a
The Mind Flayer is the bigger one.
Yeah.
Well, didn't it? So yeah, that's the part that I think I missed or got confused with in this final season.
The huge.
It's so good that they're going into horror again too, because like it's one thing to like flirt with we're doing Spielberg nostalgia, but they were straight up when Eddie Munson is selling drugs to the cheerleader and she gets fucking possessed and gets crucified and hanging in the air. I'm like, that's some dark shit.
Yeah, it was gnarly. I was not prepared for it. I loved it, but was not prepared for the show to go 0 to 100 that fast.
By the way, when are we going to get another Haunting of show?
Mike Flanagan is, well, you saw Midnight Mass, right?
I didn't see it yet. I should.
Haunting of Hill House.
It's getting around that time, boys.
Haunting of Hill House is great. Blind Manor is good, but not as good.
It's got issues. But.
It's different. Midnight Mass is one of the best shows I've ever seen, as well as Hill House. But check out Midnight Mass. Small Town Christianity is a horror film. Great.
Yeah.
His new one, though, I forget what it's called. It's targeted more towards like a teenage crowd, and it's kind of, I think it's going to kind of be like Are You Afraid of the Dark? Almost like a series of like multiple different scary tales.
Oh, I guess
But
that's fine.
I trust Flanagan. He knows
Black
horror.
Mass is on
Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass is
Netflix.
on Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you guys feel about the very heavy instance of plot armor in the final season of Stranger Things so far?
I know no every character that has been there from season 1 will not die.
Yeah. In that, once you identify that as the viewer and you start to get comfortable with your characters living because they have standing, they've been on for so long.
Well, the truth of the matter is if you don't actually see them die, they're not dead.
Well,
that
and-
is like script writing 101.
And I, for one, really upset with what they did with Max, because having to watch Max die and then bring her back in some comatose form, I feel like is a cop out. And it was fucking, the acting in that scene was so heavy. Like, don't make me relive that.
I get why they're doing it, and there's going to be a moment where they break into her mind and they bring her back. And
Well, Vecna needs a way back.
It'll be very good.
Yeah.
Whatever. My biggest complaint probably with this season is Russia. They shouldn't have shown any Russia for the first 4 episodes,
I
and then
agree.
just like all of a sudden,
Condense.
you can have like a whole like Hopper episode for like 40 minutes and just show what he was actually been through.
Yeah.
That would have been a great reveal. Instead of, we're going to break out of here. Oh, it didn't work. We're going to break out. Oh, it didn't work.
Again?
We broke out, but they got us. It's like stupid. All of it's
Well,
fucking
no,
dumb.
once they're like, we broke out, we got to break back in. And it's like, you just got out, man.
And again, I forget the actor's name.
David Harbour.
No, not him. The guy who goes with Joyce.
Oh, he's a pretty famous comedian. Brett Elston. Brett.
I'm not sure. But the conspiracy theorist guy,
Yeah.
he carried almost that whole thing too.
Oh, yeah. Him and fucking dude from Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Jock and Hagar.
Yeah. That's funny.
And he was good too, but too long. Like that whole Russia thing could have been condensed so hard, and you could just feel it getting stretched, which is unfortunate. And it was weird that they had a break between the final episodes too.
Yeah, and
It's to juice their numbers.
and seeing Hopper kill a Demigorgon with a sword was awesome.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like we have built Hopper up now to basically be Iron Man. Like this guy is invincible. He survived essentially a
they Fast
parallel
and
universe
Furious
nuclear explosion type deal. Then he survived a Russian camp at the height of the Cold War.
Yeah.
And now he's fighting Demigorgons in single combat. Like this guy it's insane. He's using cheat codes.
Yeah.
I mean, but David Harbour's the right actor to pull it off, in my opinion. He's very likable, and it doesn't detract from the show too much, but it does put the show a little bit more of like in a tongue-in-cheek sort of area than I would like the show to go.
It's
If
almost
that makes sense at all.
Well,
it makes
it's
sense.
in the setup for this final season of it being more of like a disaster movie. I'm intrigued by, but
At some point, they can't ignore what's going on.
So Eddie dies and
Unnecessarily.
I hated that.
I wanted him to stick around as a character, and I found it really strange when Dustin is talking to his uncle at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, he died a hero. I'm like, this uncle dude doesn't know what the fuck happened. What do you mean he died a hero? At that point, if I were the uncle, I'd be like, where did he die? How?
Who the fuck
What
are
was
you?
the deal?
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Exactly, but it's just like they gave him like this noble thing, and it's like that's not how you set up this situation.
Also, at that point, they were already at the house. The bats can't get to anything important. Him going out there and fighting them didn't need to happen.
He could have played the guitar in the house.
If there was a reason for him to die, but I didn't think that was justified. I think they just needed to kill him.
Which, I mean, and I blame
that actor's very good.
Yeah. I blame Game of Thrones for a lot of this. Game of Thrones, at first glance, looks like they kill characters off at a whim with no meaning. But
Turns
that's
out
not-
they have a lot of plot armor.
Yeah. It's not the case. Like Game of Thrones, oftentimes when characters died, there was major ramifications that happened after said character died or in the moment. Whereas
Their arcs
now,
are usually complete. Yeah.
writers will write a character like Eddie that is designed to be a fan favorite just to kill them.
Well,
And it's almost like to evoke a response
It is.
well,
to keep it.
they've said, the creators too, they're like, we kind of regret killing him because we are seeing how like well he did and how people responded, but we already got too far and we couldn't go back.
Sure.
One thing that they've done that I think is to their credit, Steve Harrington was supposed to like die in the first season.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to just be a bad guy, but they'll sometimes see an actor, and I think David Harbour wasn't maybe not supposed to be around as long either. But when an actor is so good, they will like we're writing around it. Like Better Call Saul's the same, and Breaking Bad, where they're like Jesse Pinkman was supposed to die in the first season or be out. And if you find something that's working and you change it, I think that's cool.
Yeah, and Steve's amazing in the show. I do think that. I mean, they're eventually going to get to the Jonathan, Steve, Nancy triangle, and one of those dudes is going down.
No, I think Jonathan's going to. I think they will stay together, and
Steve's going to die.
This whole will they, won't they is dumb.
Yeah, and Steve's going to die.
It doesn't make any
and it's going to make
sense,
me angry.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, I've been stoned before. Never so stoned I didn't talk to my girlfriend about things for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do also appreciate that the stoned pizza guy can just go to a random pizza place like, yo, my dude, we need your store and your freezer. Here's a joint. And the guy's like, okay.
Yeah, they also kind of look alike.
What is the place like Surf Pizza or something like that?
Which they're very smart too. I think they realized after using Eggos for the first season, they're like, why would we use an existing brand that we don't make all the money off of when we can make Surfer Boy Pizza and then we can sell our own Surfer Boy Pizza products and make all the money?
Yeah.
I think that's super smart for them. They just make an iconic. It's like Chips Ahoy or Ships Ahoy, whatever their ice cream was in the third season.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, cha-ching. Every one of those fucking shirts is money.
It's a slippery slope, though.
Yeah. But it's a slippery slope that they're sprinting up and making a shitload of money.
Yeah, that too.
I have a problem with a show where I get to the point where I like it so much that I start to become too critical of it. And unfortunately, Stranger Things has entered that realm of my brain where now I just want to tear it down because I don't know. I love it, but part of me hates it.
The satanic panic aspect was well done. The Dungeons and Dragons stuff was great. The one character that seems like he's in a different show is Mr. Jockboy leading a team of vigilante justice.
Yeah, and it very unceremoniously he's murdered, and that was great.
Well, I saw someone in response to that picture of Spider-Man crying, and then someone just photoshopped him into laughing. It's like you're sad, everything's like Max is dying, but then you see the douchebag character get cut in half. You're like, it's funny though.
Yeah, way to go, bud.
Yeah, but he seems like out of a different show completely.
I do for the most part think the writing in this show is a mess. If they didn't have such immensely talented actors, except for fucking Mike, I can't get over how bad Finn Wolfhard is as an actor.
And his character's gotten really, really unlikable every season as it goes on.
I don't know if he's a bad actor or if they just don't give him a single thing to do other than be annoying.
Or try to be like a leader, because they keep talking about how he's like the heart of the group, and I'm like, that's just not true.
It's fucking Steve Harrington, and we all know it.
It's Dustin.
Dusty Buns.
They'll bring him back. They'll cycle back around if they do another one.
Finn just always looks like we got this disgusted, like angry look at people on his face, and he's just telling Elle how great she is. And Elle is okay for some of this, but also I didn't like her for a lot of it. When she took her rollerblade off and like stabbed a bitch, we cheered a little bit. But
Yeah.
Well, I mean, seeing her without her powers was like, it was a slump it was a slump in the show for me because like her not having powers is super lame. And seeing her having to live as a normal kid, I felt like was just kind of a trope.
I did like to see like in like the way like she writes her letters and stuff. It seems like someone who hasn't had a lot of schooling. I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like she's clearly like intelligent. She just doesn't know how to talk with your average person out in the world. And she just gets outcast. But like the older like Millie Bobby Brown gets too, like she's clearly like an attractive young woman. It's just like if you saw someone like Elle in your school, boys would have crushes on her. Like, period.
she's weird. Don't you guys hate her?
No, I don't hate weird girls at all.
I like your diorama about your dad.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like,
Shit was cool.
like, oh, you want to kiss about it?
Tell me more about your dad. I'll listen to anything you say.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, especially in high school.
Yeah, Eddie Munson was a good new addition. I think it's also smart to kill characters before they go on too long. Also, they have to kill somebody, and it can't be a character that's already been around.
But
And
Eddie
they can't
was-
have already faked out. It's someone who they haven't already faked out the death of. So we know Hopper's going to live.
And
We know
now
Steve's
Max.
going to live. Max is going to live.
Well, Steve, when did they fake out Steve's death?
I think in the first season, right?
He got faked out a few times.
No, Steve is, I think, the most cannon fodder character right now because he's the fan favorite, and it would create such a response if they killed him.
He
Especially if they try to redeem Jonathan in the final season.
I think they will. I think she's supposed to wind up with Jonathan. I think Steve is ultimately going to die as somebody who's just not knowing where his place is and trying to find meaning.
And he's going to have some big hero's death where he saves somebody or something.
It's his moment. And maybe he gets saved and then die. Like somebody else dies saving him because he's like, I have nothing. This is my moment.
I really hope that's not the way it goes. He deserves all the happiness in the world being the strongest single mother I've ever seen.
Yeah. I think Will is going to have a season. This next season is going to be Will versus the Mind Flayer. It's going to be him getting his power.
They need to not shoot him so dorky. Give the motherfucker a good haircut.
No, he's supposed to look like a big penis head.
He looks like a penis
He looks
head.
like a monk from the 1300s or something.
True. Yeah.
So if you had to choose what show you prefer, The Boys or Stranger Things after this season?
The Boys. Easy peasy.
I got to go.
I'm going Stranger Things.
I'm intrigued by this final season.
Like, if I had to pick one to get canceled to keep going sort of thing,
That's not the question. Which one do you like more?
I don't know.
Just one is higher than the other.
I like both for so many different reasons.
That's not how ranking works, Tyler.
I got to think. This is tough.
To me, Stranger Things just seems a little more unique and novel. The Boys is smart and funny and clever. It's also just seems like it's part of the superhero craze, and just because it's still the MCU. It's just like, what if there were dick jokes and fart jokes and boobies?
I don't like the member berries part of Stranger Things. I don't like the remember a time like this.
Remember
type of shit.
Aquaman fucked fish? Remember
Stranger Things could have taken place in an era of now, but there was a very deliberate choice that was made to make it a period piece.
I really like that, though. You don't like that?
Stranger Things is weird.
No, it's aping it apes a little too hard without being self-referential enough of things in storytelling from the past. Like it knows what its influence is and it wears it on its chest, but also not in a way that I find to be like interesting. It definitely like, I'm just like, yeah, I remember 8 tracks, I guess. I owned a car with an 8-track player. Like,
What happens in Hawkins and the mystery, though, has reached to a point where I am very excited to...
it's not quite even a mystery anymore. Now it's just a supernatural force from beyond time.
It's a new mystery every season because we need a new mystery. And thankfully, they will get out after this season instead of a show like Lost, which it's like, keep them... This train doesn't stop.
Yeah.
But this is not the last Stranger Things show, though. Because
Well, there might be a spinoff, but...
Well, they've said that there's already books out. I know there's a few books that have been put out. I think there's one about Papa and like him starting the facility and all that, or something about that.
The guy who runs Papa John's?
No, is that the racist, or is that Murphy's?
Yeah, he's racist.
They're all racist.
They're all racist. Okay.
He's Italian. He makes pizza.
Not going to make a joke right now.
In the land of the cheesehead. Nobody?
No.
It's a Dutch slur.
Cheesehead?
Yeah.
That's a Dutch slur?
Yeah.
Seems like a compliment these days.
Yeah. It was just like taken and flipped. But yeah, cheesehead.
Gabagool.
Blockhead is the slur.
Ooh.
That was a character in Gumby.
That was a character in Freaks.
I think that Gumby's better than Stranger Things is what I'm saying.
Well, that's just inherently false. But
They're both great, though. I mean,
Pokey's pretty cool.
they're both great. I find myself more invested in seeing the end of Stranger Things. I do love The Boys.
It's going to be 2 years until that last season comes out.
they haven't
which
even
is
started.
okay.
They are already filming season 4 of
This-
The Boys.
Yeah.
They have not started filming Stranger Things yet.
But, Nate, I don't think you have a vote on this one since you haven't seen the newest seasons.
I can probably say for sure it's going to be The Boys.
Okay.
Just for the sole fact that I thought Stranger Things, where I do really like it, started to slow down. And I think it does get very timeline or like, I don't know, like directional where you can see where the characters are going. Like Steve Harrington, if the way you guys are talking, like he's going to die a hero. That's just the way he's going to die. It
seems
with
like it's
the
leading that
love
way.
triangle and stuff. That seems pretty obvious. Maybe they'll throw a curveball in there somewhere, but like I can already, just based on what you guys were saying, like essentially map out all the characters except for Pizza Boy. Seems pretty cool.
I think this season of Stranger Things did a lot, though. Whereas 2 was the worst season, I'd say, and 3 had a lot of better things. I liked the character of Billy, but season 4 seems like kind of back to form and over-the-top gross horror, but...
Yeah, I guess I can officially rank Stranger Things. I'm more interested in how Stranger Things ended, but I feel like I enjoy watching The Boys more.
So which do you prefer?
I'd probably say Stranger Things.
It has more like value. Like The Boys is kind of over the top fart jokes, right? Essentially. So
I mean, the guy fucks an octopus this season. That takes dick jokes to like a new level.
oh yeah,
They do go inside of a wiener.
Yeah, they literally go inside of a dick.
Shaking inside of the Coke bag was way funnier to me, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you can blow up a wiener from the inside, but you can't blow up a Coke bag. It's like you could probably get out of that bag.
Did you guys know that Steve Harrington, the actor that plays him, Joe Keery, is a musician as well and actually makes really good music?
I knew he was a musician. I didn't
Cool.
know that.
Yeah, his name is DJO, which I just called him DJO for the longest time.
D-Joe.
It's Joe. If you pronounce DJO, it sounds like Joe, like Joe Keery. But
Gin. Yeah.
yeah, his music's really good. So if anybody hasn't listened to it,
Interesting.
looking for something new on Spotify.
Yeah. Shit.
This has been Popcorn Dogs.
We hope you liked it.
Anyone watch Better Call Saul besides me?
I just had the final season spoiled for me, so that's great.
I just watched season 1 of Breaking Bad. No big deal.
Holy shit.
I live in a box.
That's almost impossible.
I haven't seen it at all.
You should. It's fucking good.
Yeah, Breaking Bad's
Breaking Bad's my
phenomenal.
favorite TV series of all time.
I agree with you.
TV. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Still back
Westworld
in.
season 4 is phenomenal so
good.
far. I'm almost
very
done
good.
with it. I have enjoyed it immensely.
It's quite fucking good.
Yeah, it's really fucking
The
good.
season 3 was excellent, and 4 just really pulls it out of the tailspin. They go hard sci-fi.
3 was such a build up to what 4 is.
Yeah.
Now that like I trashed 3 a little bit, looking back on it, I'm so glad they did it.
Yeah, perfect.
Tyler, take us out.
Sing.
Sing.
Sing a
us
song.
something.
Sing now.
Closing time. Time for you to go home. Fucking, this was Popcorn
No,
Dogs.
keep going. Now.
Closing time. They have a gun to my head. Please help.